Hello. The development of the Ordnance Survey and National Mapping Agency would make life difficult for independent map makers in Britain. The Ordnance Survey traces its beginnings to the aftermath of the Jacobite Rebellion of 1745. A map of Scotland drawn by military engineer John Elphinstone, serving with the forces led by the Duke of Cumberland, was used during the campaign. Elphinstone produced a second map for Cumberland's successor as Commander-in-Chief in Scotland, the Earl of Albemarle, combining geography with allegorical and political elements. It was the best available map at the time, but it lacked both topographical accuracy and detail. A much more exact survey was needed for military purposes and to make the Scottish Highlands in particular more accessible. In 1747, with the approval of George II, the Board of Ordnance assigned one of their civilian employees, William Roy, to head up a survey team of soldiers, appointing him to a position equivalent to a military rank in order to carry out the work. The priority, a survey of the Scottish Highlands, was completed by 1752 and was then extended to cover the lowlands, as much for administrative as for military purposes. Work was curtailed by the outbreak of the 7 Years' War in 1755, when the men engaged on the survey were redeployed to help deal with the emergency. Roy modestly described the result of his survey as a magnificent military sketch, rather than a very accurate map of the country, and in which no geometrical exactness is to be expected. Nevertheless, it was a fine achievement in potentially difficult circumstances. Although born in Scotland, Roy and his team would have been regarded as unwelcome by many locals who would have to be interviewed to establish place names. This detail shows the area around Pollock Shores, now part of Glasgow. The scale used was 1 inch to 1,000 yards, large enough to allow for considerable detail. Among the draftsmen employed was Nottingham-born Paul Sandby, later a noted watercolourist. The maps were colour-coded. Red was used for man-made structures, brown for roads, blue for waterways, green for woodland, pale brown for moors, and yellow for cultivated land. Gradients and rising ground are indicated by shading. Sandby captured a scene of work in progress in a pen and ink and watercolour sketch called View near Loch Rannoch. The instrument seen on a tripod is a circumferentor or surveyor's compass, used to measure angles and bearings. Roy was given a full military commission and transferred to surveying southern England amid fears of an invasion by French forces, eventually rising to the rank of Major General. He argued a national survey was necessary, but the idea was rejected as too expensive. However, in 1783, Roy was asked to take charge of the English contribution in an Anglo-French project to reconcile by triangulation the latitude and longitude differences between the Paris Observatory and the Royal Observatory at Greenwich, which were being questioned by the French Academy of Sciences. Using the latest precision theodolite from scientific instrument maker Jessie Ramsden, Roy measured a baseline of just over 5 miles between Hounslow Heath, then an extensive area of flat open scrub, and Hampton on the River Thames. The upright barrel of a cannon projecting from the ground at what is now Roy Grove at Hampton marks one end of the baseline. Roy measured out a second baseline in Kent on Romney Marsh. Although the findings of the Anglo-French project were inconclusive, the process captured public imagination and earned William Roy the Copley Medal, the Royal Society's highest honour. Roy's subsequent report, coupled with the renewed threat of invasion and the availability of an advanced Ramsden theodolite, influenced Charles Lennox, Duke of Richmond and Master General of the Board of Ordnance, to set up in 1791 the Trigonometrical Survey of Great Britain, the body that would later become the Ordnance Survey. Roy's baseline, from Hounslow Heath to Hampton, was used by the new body to carry out the first precise triangulation survey of the whole of Great Britain and Ireland, a major undertaking finally completed in 1853. There's a monument to William Roy near to where he was born at Carluke in South Lanarkshire, and a blue plaque on the house where he lived at 10 Argyle Street in London's Soho. Next time, the Ordnance Survey and its rivals. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons and click on the notification bell to be informed when the next video is available, or you can subscribe by clicking on the rose window over my shoulder.